All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And as you can see in the title, Death of the Financial System, Digital Dollar, and FedNow System. Okay, and I have a couple of articles in here that I want to go into dealing with this topic. As if you've been paying attention, really a lot of different things are going on. Okay, it's not just things happening in the financial news, but there's a lot of different things going on, and which is ultimately why Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai set up a body, because that way you have different lessons being done on different things. One person can't cover it all, so it's important that you have all of us upon our watching. Okay, brothers doing lessons on different things. You got now pretty much they're talking about a mothership, all right, as they called it, which is really not a mothership, but a mothership basically sending out smaller ships of so-called aliens, here, and they're shifting closer and closer to that narrative because they understand that the time is short, and real soon your life is about to be like a sci-fi movie. Okay. Nevertheless, dealing with what we've been seeing over the past few weeks, all right, which we know is a systemic plan to um, pretty much collapse, the current financial system, which we've been warning about for years. All right, but if you look at how things have been set up, even going back, which really prior to, but going back to the time of the Big C, where they locked everybody down, not just in America, but in all parts of the world, slowed everything down, and then just started pumping all types of funds into the economy, all the way up until now. And they set up the system to be in this position right now. They set themselves up to be in this position right now. And quite frankly, those that are behind the scenes, they're not bothered by this. All right. You can look at the kind of moves that they're making amidst this so-called chaotic environment for the banking sector. And yet, even while all this so-called chaos is going on, they're still making moves, deliberate moves. Moves that you stop and you say, wait, hold on a second. Are you trying to help or hurt this place? But anyway, as you can see in the headline here, this is from rtnews.com. It says Dow drops as banking stocks sink, which that's what they've been doing this whole week. It says U.S. markets were down on Friday to end the worst week for the sector in over a decade. Bank stocks led U.S. markets lower on Friday as investors' concerns over the health of the financial sector continue to grow. Then it talks about this, gives some stats on there. It says the slide was driven by financials, with First Republic Bank stock nosediving 20% in early trading after the bank suspended its dividend payout, and analysts announced that it was facing a dire outlook, which also, when you look at what's going on with Credit Suisse, I mean, they're going through it left and right. And you have other banks now saying that they're suspending their dealings with them. So it says, but at the end of the day, it's all controlled. And I mean, keep your eyes open to see what the Fed does. I believe is next week or so that they're gonna come out and decide whether they're gonna hike interest rates again, or they're gonna stop, or they're gonna cut it. But let's see. I'm hoping they hike it. But in any case, if they do, then they're pretty much letting you know, yeah, screw it. We'll do it live. So it says on Thursday, U.S. big banks, including J.P. Morgan Chase and Morgan Stanley, threw a $30 billion lifeline to the troubled regional lender. The banking sector struggles worsened as SVB Financial Group announced on Friday, which is today, it had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in New York to seek buyers for its assets. And that's the thing. Like I said, they've been planning this for a long time, but the thing about it is when you put the plan into motion, you have to make it look organic in a way. even though a lot of people are already onto them, they're still trying to make it look organic. That's why they set up situations from, years back. See, they're dominoes, right? They're dominoes that fall when they have that domino effect. Usually you hit one, then immediately after it hits the other, then it hits the other, then it hits the other. But these devils are able to set up dominoes that one hits another and that other won't hit the other up until maybe a year and a half later. And then it hits the other domino, and then it hits the other one, and then it hits the other one. So they because they run simulations.
I'm glad.
Okay, they plan these things out. When the scriptures say that they, matter of fact, let's get that real quick. The book of Psalm 64:6, it says they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, meaning that on one aspect, in order for them to accomplish these plans that they have, which amounts to iniquity because they don't have goodness in their heart or in their minds, they do a very thorough and diligent search. They do research. And when I say they, I don't mean that Jacob Rothschild has a laptop and he is reading 24/7 how to collapse an economy. It's not his job to do that. He gives the orders for what he and they give the orders for what they want. And there are people who have been brought up and bred, the best of the best, whose jobs it is to do these things, whose jobs it is to master subversion tactics, to master economic manipulation, to master deception of the public eye, to master the media, to master the bread and circuses. They have all of the top people who can do this in place to do this, and they cue them like a conductor, right? I think it's a conductor, whoever it is that does the orchestra stuff, and then he lets this guy know, play this here, play this here, play this here, and then they do it at the same time to get a desired effect. So they have people that are underneath them who specialize in doing these things. They've placed agents in different areas, in different countries, in different institutions, and in key places that influence decisions that are made. So when the scriptures say that they search out iniquities and they accomplish a diligent search, it's not an underestimation. Because in order for you to be able to manipulate things on a world scale, you got people right now, they can't even manipulate somebody, on an individual scale. Not saying that you should go around manipulating people, but these devils are deceiving and controlling and affecting things on a world scale all around the world.
They ain't doing shit.
And that you're not able to do that overnight. You have to set traps and set things in place years and years, and be patient, plant seeds in different locations and wait for them to grow, and then wait for the timing to be right. And they do all of that. It says both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. So when they set up these things, these plans, and they start executing them, it's not something that they sat down last night and came up with and said, let's do it now. But now what we're seeing is, as they came out and they've told you time and time again that they're trying to move to this new digital system, it's only a matter of time. Because they know that they're running short on time. They want to get this thing done quick. And now the one main thing that's in their way is the current system. And this system wasn't built to last. It was built to be temporary. Well, now time is up. So now they can slow it down, they can speed it up, but at the end of the day, they're in the phase of collapsing the current and introducing the new. Because at the same time, which they announced this like a year or two ago, but the whole FedNow payment system, they're saying that they're going to launch it between May and July, which that in itself is a whole another thing. But let's read a little bit more here, and then we'll get to it. So it says, the announcement came days after its former unit, Silicon Valley Bank, was shut down by U.S. regulators, which, when you really look into it and you pay attention to the kind of the actions that they took, they could, things could have gone differently. But it was a deliberate effort to make it go this way. But in any case, It says deposits have fled from regional banks like First Republic into the big banks, who are now bailing them out by putting the deposits back in. But it doesn't solve the problem. The chairman of Great Hill Capital, Thomas Hayes, told Reuters, until you stop the deposit flight from regional banks into the systemically important banks that are too big to fail, it doesn't matter how much money you pour into the bucket, he added. And the thing about this is what's interesting, right, is that all this is happening. This is actually important stuff to know and pay attention to, but the average individual has no clue. Okay, they have no clue. They literally don't even know what is about to hit them, and that's why when it hits them, it's going to be so sudden. To them, it's going to be like something new. Okay, but let me hit this article. So this article is titled "Money in 2023: What Tech Companies Need to Know About Instant Payments and FedNow." And I just want to highlight a certain part in here. It pretty much breaks down the FedNow payment system, and in essence, it's supposed to be like an instant payment system, so you can avoid the whole say for example, money when money is sent from one bank to another, or one lender to another, whatever, it goes through a whole process, and then sometimes they don't work on weekends, they don't work on holidays, and then it takes longer for the money to get to you, and so they only work on business days, and then your transaction is processing. All of this stuff, the FedNow payment system claims to be this savior where it's going to allow you to transfer money instantly, okay, from one bank account to another one, just like that. Now, the thing about the FedNow is that the FedNow system in itself is not a digital currency, but it will allow for the transfer of funds. Okay, so in essence, like a foundation for a digital currency, for a central bank, a CBDC. But anyway, it says here, FedNow will offer fast, low-cost payment rail, or a fast, low-cost payment rail for digital platforms. The Fed's legal terms and conditions for FedNow generally limit eligibility to banks, but e-commerce merchants and other digital marketplaces that have accounts with banks participating in FedNow can also take advantage as recipients of instant payments. And they're going to keep pushing towards that, because the advantage that the Fed has is that if they now introduce this system, they can start trying to, which they're already doing now, but block out all other systems and basically monopolize it. The whole goal that they want is to centralize everything, have it all stem to one root, like a pyramid at the top. Is controlled by one source. Everything is controlled by one source. So you got to go to him for everything. And the thing about things like cryptocurrency, so-called stable coins, is that they don't have the ability to do that when it comes to those things. So that's why they're so against it. And in essence, what they want to do is say, you know what, we're just going to do away with that and introduce our version of it, which is going to be that CBDC. So now, and we're going to be able to police this. And if you ain't doing it our way, you ain't doing it at all. So now think about it, right? If you have the FedNow system that comes about, and they introduce a central bank digital currency that utilizes this FedNow system, right, and transferring those digital dollars from wherever it is to you, and then slowly they migrate certain services to now be using this FedNow payment system, right, where when you file taxes, getting your money back, right, when you are dealing with, I don't know, social security checks, or all these kinds of things that involve any form of transactions with the government or the Fed or whatever, they can now transition into this FedNow payment system, because why not? They need to incentivize people to shift to it. So it says, if these merchants and merchant places enable an instant payment option that a customer can select when purchasing goods or services online, they would have significantly lower cost alternative or a significantly lower cost alternative to traditional credit and debit card rails. So now you can see they're providing another means that is going to trump using debit and credit cards. And then when that happens, they start to highlight the negatives in using the old system and why you should upgrade upgrades. So it says digital wallet companies, right? So you have digital currencies and you have digital wallets, which makes sense, right? Because if you have a digital currency, where are you going to store that digital currency? In your digital wallet. But then how are you going to transfer that digital currency from you to another person? Like in real life, you have a physical wallet. You got cash in there. If you want to pay somebody, right? You go, maybe you go to the store, right? You walk, you physically take yourself to the store, you take out your wallet from your pocket, you put your fingers in there, pull out however much it is, hand it to the person and say, here you go. That's the transaction. What they're doing now is saying, no, no more of that. No digital, no physical wallet, no physical movement, none of that. You can have a digital wallet. It will hold your digital dollar or your digital currency. And when you need to send money, you can do it through the FedNow payment system. And that way, all you do is either from the tap of your phone or from the swipe of your hand, boom, money is gone. Money is here. But what comes with that, right? Whoever's regulating this now has control, absolute control. He can close the tap. He can instantly empty your digital wallet, or they can instantly put digital currencies in your digital wallet. And the thing about digital currencies is you don't really own anything. It's just numbers that are programmed that they literally can just type in any number they want and just let it show up in your digital wallet, and you think you're rich, but you don't really own anything. Because that is not, it's just going to be digital currencies. It's just going to exist in the digital world. And then they're going to tie it to certain privileges in the physical world. Oh, how many digital bucks do you have? Okay, you can go on the swing for like 10 minutes and then you go work some more and get some more digital bucks.
Crazy.
So in essence, you're going to be a digital slave using digital money in a digital wallet, living a digital life. But it says here, digital wallet companies and payment platforms could similarly leverage instant payments to improve customer offerings. Consumers and businesses will be able to immediately fund and defund wallet balances at low cost. You don't pay your bills, gone. You pay your bills, good. You get paid, good. You're disobedient, well, that's it. It says, for example, they can instantly, so they're not going to send you a mail telling you owe us this amount. Now send us the money or we're going to come see you. They'll just deduct it from your digital wallet. You wake up one day and your shit gone. It says they can instantly move funds. And the thing about today is that your life is based on transactions, everything you do. It says they can instantly move funds sitting in a digital wallet. And what's an example? Walletmore. Walletmore is an example, right? They deal with, and they actually deal with physical implants, because that's where it's going to go to at some point. Once they set all this up, they have the system up and running, then they start pushing, all right, now everything is set up, but now those digital wallets are now coming in the form of micro C-hips. It says, and it won't be a new thing by that point. So it says, in a digital wallet to an interest-bearing or wealth management account to more efficiently manage money, or immediately fund the wallet to make an in-store purchase without a card. Interesting. So if you don't have a card, what are you using? Using either your phone or at some point your hand, your body. And that's all I wanted to read on this. And the last one is this article. This is called Whether Private or Public, the U.S. Needs a Digital Dollar. And this is an article that was brought out in the stream that was done by the elder brother Ariella and Rakaya Kwam. It was a very good stream, all right, very edifying. and I recommend watching it. Lord willing, after this video, I'll link it, the link to that stream and to these articles in the description box. You can check it out. But yeah, when you when you go into this article, basically this guy makes the case for a digital dollar. All right, and let me see, maybe I'll read a little bit of it. So it says here, the travails of Silicon Valley Bank, or SVB, which went from having an A credit rating to being taken over by the feds in 3 days. See how quick that happened? Going to show you that it's designed. If they want it to go down, it will go down. If they don't want it to go down, then it won't go down. And however fast they want it to happen, that is how it will happen. So it says, reminded me of the words of Morgan Ricks, a professor at Vanderbilt Law School and a former Treasury official, who said, there's nothing inherently dodgy or doji about stablecoins, but there is something inherently doji about banking, which is why countries build elaborate regulatory regimes to protect deposits. Indeed, we should be encouraging true stable coins. Most of all, we should be encouraging a digital dollar. And at some point, they're going to come out with it. And at some point, some point soon. They build all of these are just cases. Wow. We've exposed how fragile the banking system is and the dollar, and it's losing its hegemony, and all these other countries are developing their currencies, and US is falling behind, and now there's a whole rally. We got to do this. We got to do it now. It says you can have stable non-doji banks if you want them. They are called narrow banks or payment banks. They are banks that hold customer deposits but do not take those deposits and lend them to startups or gamble them on foreign exchange transactions or bet on horses with them or whatever else it is that bank risk officers will allow. So in essence, do away with the current flow of how banking works, right? How banks actually are that middleman that they make their money off of your money. But in this case, eliminate that. They shouldn't do anything with your money. They shouldn't invest it. They shouldn't lend it to others. And then no. This you deposit your money stays where it's at. And when you come to get it, you come to get it. And in that case, then if it's a digital currency and it's issued by the Fed, and the second they issue it, it can come straight to you, maybe through a bank, but it's going to be a different kind of bank, right? As he's saying, narrow banks or payment banks. Mm. It says they just hold your money, and instead of paying you interest on it, you pay them fees for doing useful things, right? Because why would they need to pay you interest? They will pay you interest because they're using your money. In essence, they're borrowing the money you're depositing. But if you do away with that and they just hold your money, then you pay them for holding your money. So it says now that may sound rather unappealing, but the truth is that a great many people do not need all the facilities of a commercial bank. They need cheaper, quicker, and more transparent options for paying and getting paid. Wallets, for example, that can send digital dollars to other wallets over the internet is not going anywhere near the banks or banking networks. But in order to do that, you need a secure payment system that you can be comfortable with, that will work well with your wallet. Now, what kind of wallet will be sending digital dollars? A digital wallet. So you see where they're going with it. And this gives them maximum control. Okay? Absolute maximum control. When you look at all these futuristic sci-fi movies, right? It's all in the digital age. And that's when there's as little freedom as possible. When everything is technologically run. And you have no privacy, you have no freedom, you have no room to even think. Well, guess what? We are in that great reset where they're pushing for it. And they've said it. I mean, they've openly come out and said it. Klaus Schwab, there's videos of him out there telling you straight up, Yes, you're gonna have black swan events. Yes, we need to, restructure this whole thing. Yes, it's gonna be like this. They've said it openly. I mean, he himself has said he wants to micro C hit people, all of those things. So now, I mean, if you're watching, you're seeing that they're not just talking. It's not just all talk. And at the end of the day, it plays all into what? Prophecy. The reason they're doing it, the reason they're thinking of doing it, the reason any of it is even going according to plan is because it's all biblical prophecy. And it's all leading to a climax. Okay? An ultimate climax. Now, yeah, when you keep on reading, there's some more interesting stuff in here. Matter of fact, let me read this part a bit. It says, but then you might ask if a consumer, or if as a consumer you are not getting any interest on your dollar tokens, just as you are not getting any interest on your dollar bills, why bother with the private token intermediaries at all? That brings us to the second option. Why not just have the Federal Reserve issue a digital dollar itself, right? So why should it have to go through like a bank, or a partner that will then issue it to you? So the Fed deals with the partner issues it to you. Just like you go to a bank today and you go to Chase Bank, you open up an account, check-ins account, then they give you a debit card, right? But instead, you would go to Chase and they would give you a digital wallet. And then you would deal with the Fed through them as like a middleman. It says, for most people in most of the world, most of the time, a Fed coin, aka a US digital dollar token that can be redeemed at the Fed at any time, is the ultimate stable coin. All right. It says here, digital power. It says this is more than convenience and cost saving for US consumers. Yeah, it's definitely way more than that. They could care less about your convenience. It's about what's benefiting them. It says, as Sam Lyman pointed out, properly regulated stablecoins have the potential to cement U.S. financial hegemony for a generation. And then it goes on, so on and so forth. Yeah. So, like I said, I'll link these all in there. But when you look at the different pieces, okay, as to what's happening, not only is the banking system going down, all right, and basically in turmoil, and it's not slowing down, which we have to watch and see what happens. But at the same time, there's talks openly about a digital dollar. And it's not just from this guy or from this article. People in the US, I mean, the Fed themselves have explored a pilot program for it. And then they're telling you not that they're about to explore, but they're launching a FedNow payment system in what they said between May and July. So it tells you that they're moving in a certain particular direction. And that direction does not include the current financial system. But it does include the new digital system that they're pushing towards. So as the scriptures say, we have to watch and see, watch as well as pray, because it's happening. But that collapse is going to be a very devastating time. All right, it's not going to be a easy, sweet walk in the park, because damn near the whole world was built on this current system. So to collapse it is going to be a very, very, very big fall. And I mean, by the time that the average individual starts to feel these effects and notice what's going on, it's going to be, dangerous in the streets. Okay. So things are going to get bad, man. As the scriptures tell you, it's going to be a time like never before. But pursuant to Isaiah 33:6, and knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of our times. So we're going to maintain our trust in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. He's going to guide us through it all. But we're watching the downfall, the collapse, and the restructuring of this current system. So, hey, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens over the next few weeks, next few months. Let's see, how much the Lord turns this thing up. But Lord willing, He turns it up all the way. Anyway, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all